Taoiseach tá fáilte rud, Taoiseach tá lán le rágam agus níl mór ná agam, so be mé a le a gasach ní léiridí bhas é sin, so go mo leiscail. Taoiseach, last week FW de Klerk died. He was the last white president of apartheid South Africa, and his actions helped to end one of the most cruel and obscene regimes in the modern history of the world. His actions in releasing Nelson Mandela from prison and helping to end apartheid liberated the people and were instrumental in helping to build a new South Africa. De Klerk's farewell apology a few days before he died was in keeping with his political conversion that apartheid was immoral, inhuman and indefensible. The former president was a consummate politician and held many posts in the apartheid government for decades. He didn't join or lead the white-only National Party, I imagine, with a plan to end apartheid. It was his experience mixed with the changing circumstances in South Africa that convinced him it was time to end apartheid and to play his part in building a new multiracial nation. The whites wanted the apartheid system to last forever. And here at home, partition continues to scar Ireland, and there are parties in this state and in the north who want partition in some form to last forever as well. But just like South Africa, that isn't going to happen. De Klerk found a partner in Nelson Mandela. Our experience here tells us we all have to find and act on our De Klerk moment, indeed moments. And that applies to the parties and people in this chamber. It applies to the Irish government. It applies to you and me, Taoiseach. We need to ask ourselves, in this, the centenary of partition, are we doing enough to end its malign influence in the politics and attitude of this state? Much progress has been made, and peace and the Good Friday Agreement are evidence of that. Indeed, they are the harbingers of a new Ireland. The agreement didn't settle the constitutional question, Taoiseach. It asks us the constitutional question. Our experience and the experience from South Africa show that change happens by people seeking it. Our experience also tells us that once change begins, it has an inner and an unstoppable momentum. And that momentum, properly managed and directed, can help bring about a new, just and equal Ireland. The big issues are well known: the need for engagement with the broad unionist and Protestant community, and there are many in that community keen to play their part in the debate about this country's future. It's therefore regrettable, and I know many found it deeply disappointing, Taoiseach, that you failed to appoint someone from the unionist community to this, the 26th Seanad. The need for a referendum north and south, the need for a date to be agreed between the Irish and British governments for a referendum on constitutional change, the need for a national citizens' assembly. And we see evidence of that momentum all around us in the constitutional debate that's underway involving all parties in the Oireachtas and organisations like Ireland's Future. Thousands of Gaels have written to you, Taoiseach, supporting the establishment of a citizens' assembly. You may take the opportunity today to respond to them. There are numerous academic projects looking at the constitutional and economic implications of a united Ireland. The SDLP, who I don't need to tell you are in formal partnership with your own party, have set up a New Ireland Forum. Sinn Féin is planning to hold a series of people assemblies across the country from the start of the new year. The Irish Government's role in this momentum of change is crucial, especially in relation to the setting up of Citizens' Assembly. I know there is a view that such an assembly will be a gathering of nationalists only, speaking to ourselves, but that's a mistaken view, Taoiseach. I know from the contact that Sinn Féin and others have with Unionists and Protestants that many will attend any such assembly. In fact, they want to. A Citizens' Assembly will provide the opportunity for the Government to present its vision for the nation's future in terms of the Unionist and Protestant people, cultural identity and symbols, in terms of the governance structures, in terms of the Constitution, human rights, the economy, the health and education systems, and much more again. And I think the welcome initiative by your department in setting up the Shared Island Unit, which Sinn Féin supports, demonstrates that the Government is fully aware of the need for all-Ireland engagement across many sectors. As the unit's work develops, I would ask you, Taoiseach, to consider a broader, deeper and more meaningful public engagement with all communities north and south. The dialogue and popular engagement that's underway across this nation about our constitutional future, it needs a home. It needs a Citizens' Assembly to give it focus, to give it direction and to give it the energy that is clearly being invested in a planned outcome. Together, Taoiseach, we can do this. Níl neart go Carla Céile, Senator Sherman.